So you fear judgment. And not only do you fear judgment, you're also incredibly self-critical. You're always beating down on yourself and not being good enough. You're worried about what other people think of you. You're worried that you're not good enough. And that causes you to overcompensate in other ways, whether that is overworking, overtraining in the gym, whether it's having perfectionism, whatever it may be, you overcompensate for these judgments that you have towards yourself in some way, shape, or form. And you're sick of that running your life. The point of this video is really to help you overcome that. And I'm going to do that by explaining to you the mirror effect. Now, the mirror effect is a fundamental law of human nature. And really what it states is that whatever we are putting out, whatever we are judging others for, it is actually mirroring within us a judgment that we have towards ourselves. And not only that, it's actually reinforcing that judgment that we have towards ourselves. So let's take this example. Say this is you. You're someone who identifies as someone who isn't lazy, you're disciplined, you're hardworking. You're someone who puts a lot of effort into their personal growth and into growing in their lives and in their careers. Say that you see someone who you perceive as lazy. Maybe they work with you. Maybe they're a colleague or a staff member. Maybe it's a romantic partner or a friend or a family member. And their laziness irritates you. It irritates you because you feel like you're so hardworking, you're always busy, you have low energy because of how overworked you always are. And then you see people who are maybe sitting on the couch and not doing a whole lot with their lives. Maybe they aren't putting in 100% effort in at work, and that really gets to you. Why does that get to you? This is the question. It gets to you because as a result of judging that other person, you are repressing the fact that you too have that trait, and it is revealing within you and reinforcing within you that self-judgment that you have. And it's because of that self-judgment that you overcompensate in these different ways. This is the reason why people overwork, overtrain, and have perfectionism. It's because they're trying to outwork that trait that they deep down believe that they have, and they're trying to run from it and prove to themselves that they are not that person. And as a result of judging other people for having that trait, because of the consistency bias, we all want to act in consistency with the words that we say, with the beliefs that we hold, and the way that we portray ourselves in the world. So by judging someone else as being lazy, the consistency bias reinforces this idea that you cannot be lazy. I'm not a lazy person, and by that definition, I cannot do things that are quote unquote lazy because laziness is a bad trait, or so you've perceived it and judged it as. And as a result, this reinforces this self-judgment. This reinforces this idea that I am not that person and I don't have that trait. But the truth is that every single person has every known trait. And you can't escape this dichotomy. You can't escape this continuum of having every trait and this fundamental fact about human nature. But all that happens when you try and disown and repress these traits is that they get pushed into what's known as the unconscious or the shadow self. And the shadow self is really the embodiment of all the aspects of yourself that you have tried to disown, repress, and ignore and get rid of. But the truth is, as Carl Jung says, is that these shadow traits and that shadow self will come out in unconscious ways you do not have control over. And so what that really means is that you always have these traits, but by repressing them, you're simply pushing them below your conscious awareness. So the question is, how do we escape this cycle of judging others and in reinforcing our own self-judgment? And how do we stop this mirror effect from damaging our lives, creating this fear of judgment, creating this inner critic, and as a byproduct, really destroying our lives in some way, shape, or form, our mental lives at least? What we have to do here is firstly acknowledge that you have that trait. You have to have that trait. Okay, that's the first thing. But the second thing is actually to acknowledge that the trait isn't actually a bad thing. Take laziness for an example. If you put being super disciplined and productive and hardworking up on a pedestal, and you put being lazy down in the pits, really, when you depress that trait, then you're really going to find yourself in this cycle of judging yourself and other people. But if you're able to actually acknowledge the benefits of that bad trait, in the case of laziness, you could see it as a form of rest and recovery that allows you to actually work at your fullest potential when you are working. And you start to stack these different benefits to see that laziness and being hardworking and productive are actually equal in their innate value and their inherent value, and they actually rely on each other to function at their highest level. Then you can stop judging yourself for having those traits. And more importantly, stop judging other people who have those traits so that you can stop judging yourself as a byproduct and escape this continuum. So in order to stop judging yourself, you have to stop judging other people. And in order to stop judging other people, you have to stop judging the traits that you are judging in those other people, whether for good reason or bad reason. You can't put having these certain good traits up on a pedestal, like having an incredible physique, being incredibly hardworking, and all these other traits that we perceive as being good. You have to take them off the pedestal, not to say that they are irrelevant, they are still relevant, but to take them off this high pedestal that you've placed them on, and to take those lower traits, or the traits that you perceive as bad, out from the pit and really level them out. And as a byproduct of seeing those traits as being inherently neutral, having equal benefits and drawbacks, having equal gain to take from them and equal loss to take from them as well, then you will escape this continuum, and as a byproduct, stop judging yourself and overcome your fear of judgment. So I hope that was valuable. If it was, don't forget to subscribe. There's a link below to get my free course where I cover all sorts of mental and emotional mastery, information, and I give you practical tools and stuff that you can use to apply to overcome your fears, your anxieties, your sadness and depression, guilt and shame, as well as how to design training programs that are effective to build muscle, nutrition plans and diet plans to lose fat, operate at your highest level, and of course as well build muscle to really increase your performance and productivity, and everything to really master yourself as a man, as well as a community to join the group of boys that we have who are all on a common mission towards their own self-improvement journeys. So links below, sign up, I'll see you in there, and I'll see you in the next one.